you have dreamt about Suicide Free India. Gathering those words to the public is first needs courage. Second, you should be like yourself daring to speak, those words. How did that gather? Like, how did you come up? Because you are a founder of Suicide Free India, of course, but you're also, you have so many psychological therapies. You have been, expertise on. Also, you are founder of Life Sutra, and so a couple of things. So your background is corporate jobs for years. How did you come up with this idea of heart?
First of all, thank you, Nikita, for inviting me. I think this platform is great to touch upon a very, very sensitive topic. Of all the things that you can do for the world, I think preventing suicide is one of the biggest of them. The biggest loss is when we lose a person by choice. Someone is deciding to die by choice. That means, what are we doing as a society? We are doing something really, really wrong. Is someone prefer dying over living? I think that is the most painful thing to even feel, Like, what are we doing as a society if no one wants to live? And it goes against the most basic programming of our brain, because we are programmed to survive. We are survivors. We survived in the most drastic eras. If you see the history of how man evolved, we are meant for survival. So if someone decides to die, it's not an impulse. It's not a one-time thing. It has been happening in his head for a long period of time to take such a big decision. And if someone is suffering for such a long time, what are we doing? How can we not notice? Why are we not helping? That is the question. These are the questions that I ask myself. And it started, I left my corporate career, 16 years of corporate career in 2000 and I think 17 or 18. And I started a journey. First of all, it was for me to find out what I want to do, because I had such a successful career. I worked with Accenture and Aditya Birla and all big companies, Tesco. I lived in UK, Prague, and I traveled the world. That was one of my dreams, to travel the world, and I did that. But once I did all of that, then I still felt that there is something missing in my life. And it was a very discomforting or uncomfortable feeling, that I'm just not happy with everything in my life. There is something really, really missing. And I decided to go through, you can say, a spiritual journey to find that about me. And all of this was happening, and I was traveling to monasteries and doing counseling session for NGOs, and all of that was happening. And I was fine. My pace was okay. I was trying to find my purpose. And then suddenly someone just sent me a news clip of there was a girl in Surat who committed suicide, and she recorded a video of before she committed suicide. Okay, and the video said that she is dying of her own will. She is completely happy. She's dying because the person she married does not love her, and there is no point in living without love. So she's deciding to die. She said sorry to her parents, and she said that I know that it will be difficult for them to live without her. She said sorry to her younger brother who looks up to her. All of these good things. She was one of the top employees in her company. She was a Muslim girl, but always very well educated, very traditional. She married based on her parents' wishes. Okay. And after her arranged marriage, the guy said he does not love her. Maybe it was the dowry case or something. He decided to file for divorce. And they were fighting the case and all of that. But for her, it was not about divorce or dowry. She just wanted love. Okay. And she, last time before she committed suicide, she went to meet him. And she said that if you don't stay with me, I'll commit suicide. And the guy said, go ahead. Just please record a video before you do that, so that nobody blames me. That's why she recorded the video. Yeah, he said that. So
oh my God.
Was saying like for me, if we look at from a neutral point of view, we'll say, what a stupid thing to do, to die for a guy, who does not even love you, someone is asking you to go and die, so that means he definitely doesn't love you, right? And you decided to commit suicide, leaving all your parents and everything for them. So I thought that this person could have been saved.
Yeah. And this is what, I wanted your expertise on, that, for example, I am in Australia, right? And when we were talking before and I explained to you the fact that UK and Canada are such countries where we have majority of Indians. Australia is now, behind them, following what they have suffered, what they have gone through. And we hear a lot of cases of students dying in India or in abroad countries of the fact that there is a lot of pressure. Earlier, it was more culture shock when, people used to migrate out abroad countries, that they have their culture shock, family behind, that really different kind of pressures. And now it has also, of course, it's always been happening in India, that it's like parents love to see their children grow, but that growth comes with a lot of pressure, and it actually gives us the feeling of anxiety, but leads to suicide in the end, which is fatal. So what are your thoughts, like what people should realize, that what are the final consequences as a mother, that might end up one's life?
Add this, that we always think that we know better than our kids. Okay, I think it's a myth. Okay, our kids are definitely more evolved, like we are more evolved than our parents. So there are lots of things that they don't know, they can't talk about it, they don't know what we deal with, the pressures, the anxiety we felt when I was the first one to move abroad from my family, and how I felt alienated in a country where nobody has ever been in my generations. So what we faced and felt and evolved from that, our parents can never know. So we as parents should understand that we don't know everything. Okay, the kids are facing much more, they know much more, and let's not underestimate their intelligence. Sometimes they have a stronger point of view, and when we don't listen to that, I think that makes them anxious, overwhelmed, frustrated, not heard. Basically, the basic thing that is we all are missing right now is being listened to. Nobody is really listening to anybody. The parents think that the kids are not listening to them. The kids are thinking that the parents are not listening. Nobody is really listening. I saw a job on Fever, and I was surprised that the job says, and the job description said, listener. This person is getting paid $200 per hour just to listen. Okay, and not a therapist, not a counselor, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, not a clinical professional, nothing. Because people really want someone to listen. They're paying for it. So imagine if we can do that to ourselves. Okay? And it's not just only listening, but really actively listening.
This is a fact, and you have used a very good word, that it is actively listening. Like in the morning, we were doing one of the mothers, they kind of interview today, and this come to a conclusion or a thought that we are involved in our family, in our family relationships with our friends and family, but we're not there. We are them, but we're not there. True. And is that, do you think, what other factors can actually lead to such situations that they can actually force a person to think about suicidal thoughts? Because of course, in Australia, I had to talk. So 8.6%, as per the statistics, they die every day. Think due to different reasons of suicidal linked thoughts or suicidal fatal attempts. But then in Australia as well, of course, because I'm here and I'm more talking about this side, but I'm sure you would relate to this fact that countries, when it
absolutely.
comes to
Absolutely.
suicidal thoughts, do not matter. It is more the culture, or the roots we bring from India to anywhere around the world. And we still, being 80s and 90s kids, we are at a level that we handle the situations of a pressure.
Yeah, and for me, like if you ask me, I don't believe in boundaries. Because I believe in energy and vibrations, and I believe in the kind of metaverse that people talk about in cartoons. But I really believe that we are much more than these boundaries. When universe created us, universe has no boundaries, right? Pain is real across the border. Okay, we are human. We are exactly the same across the border, and for in my head there is no boundaries as such. When it comes to pain, a person sitting 10,000 miles from you can really help you listen. Can really listen to you and take away your suicidal thoughts. Can give you peace. So how does it matter in terms of helping people when it comes to suicidal thoughts or such feelings? There is no boundary at all. The pain is, if the pain is exactly the same, then the solutions are exactly the same. There can be nitty-gritties to it, but eventually what it converts to is the same kind of thing, which is pain, right? And let's not take this less seriously, because this pain is really real. Of all the things that people go through, it like suicide is the kind of the most extreme, okay? Because that's when someone decides that there is nothing they can do. And to reach that point, they have tried everything out. So, and because this is the most difficult period for them, they show signs. They show signs, but people are not skilled to read it. That's why what we are doing as Suicide Free India and Suicide Free World, that we are creating the awareness of reading the signs. About the myths behind suicide, like the most common myth, people people say that if you talk about suicide, someone might get an idea. There's a myth going around. Let's not talk about suicide. That's why there is so much discomfort talking about it, because they think that if they talk about it, someone might get an idea. The atmosphere will sound suicide. So people will get an idea and people will start committing suicide. So we are not talking about it. Is that helping? Is that really helping? We are not talking about suicide at all, and still people are doing it, right? And the rates have been increasing all the time. It is the highest after Corona and COVID times, the lockdown period. It has increased drastically, and it is going on increasing. We thought that maybe lockdown was a problem, so now lockdown will be over, so the suicide rates will go down. No, it has not. It's even worse. The other discomfort around suicide is that people think that if someone has decided to commit suicide, you cannot stop them. Trust me, they want you to stop them. They're waiting for someone to give them that hope, because according to them, they have tried everything. Is there something that you can bring to the table? And they're just waiting for one glimpse of hope, because it is the most difficult thing to do. If I tell you to touch a hot knife or a spoon, you will not touch it. You will just not touch it, because we are programmed to protect ourselves from self-harm. Imagine cutting your wrist. Imagine hanging yourself. Imagine you can't hold your nose for more than 1 minute. Imagine dying of suffocation. People, if someone is doing that, how much they must be suffering. And to reach that point, they have gone through stages. There are types of suicide. There are stages of suicide, what level they are in. If they're in the initial level, they can just be handled through counseling. If they go to a little advanced level, then some kind of medication is required. Some kind of, like a observation is required. Some kind of removal of certain toxic products, and some certain elements are required, like and not sharp objects. You have to sometimes protect them from the sharp objects and things like that. But if someone has tried it once, they are more prone to suicide. And if and suicide comes like an impulse, like it is between 3 seconds to 18 seconds. So if they're going through that thought and they have reached that level, it's between 3 seconds to 18 seconds. If you can do a counseling during that time, the thought is gone forever. Okay. So that's what we are, that's what we are working upon. If they just call, if there is someone available all the time, if they know that within my area there are at least 7 people who are counseling for suicide, and I can just call them. I'm getting the impulse, if I can just call them. If we can make that availability, at least giving them the option of calling us, then reading the signs before they reach that point. That's what we are planning to do as a society.
But this is incredible, I must say this, and you are right. People are not comfortable talking about it. Of course, who wants to die? No one, unless they are they don't have any option. But that option is not right. And then what you have said, that this is couple of seconds, and it's very important that you as an expert has highlighted this fact that if they know that someone is already taking a counseling, that might help them to stop themselves with that feeling. And once you think, and you would relate to this, that once we are watching a film in which we see that someone is suiciding for XYZ reason, you feel the pain. You, for a moment, you have tears in your eyes, and especially, coming from your own community, when you hear a lot of facts because of maybe violence, because of pressure, because of...
Do you know, Nikita, what we feel the pain about? We don't feel the pain of the death. We see death all the time. There are people dying, like soldiers are dying. There are people who are dying of cancer. It's not the death that we feel bad about. We feel bad about the hopelessness. How hopeless that person might have been. That there was, they decided to end it themselves. Nobody was killing them. Nobody was murdering them. No, but the life was so hopeless, and that causes us pain as a society. That we could not do anything about it. I think everybody who can do a little bit anything about it, and it's not like, for example, everybody is going through suicidal thoughts. It's not that it's something that only some of the people go through. Everybody goes through that thought once in their lifetime. Yeah, everybody goes through it. It's a fact. It's a fact. Obviously, people are not talking about it because they feel ashamed. There is shame related to this. And because the people think that if I talk about my suicidal thoughts, it's like I'm like I'm a loser. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Someone might think I'm weak. So this shame is somehow bound to this kind of thoughts, and I think that needs to be removed. That's why talking about it in a platform like this is where we remove the shame around it. We talk about it as much as we can.
And also, and people who are watching us would agree as well that, everyone gets the thought. Sometimes we are like so much in pressure. We come back from work, or we come back from, any fights, and we always tend to say, what if I end my life? It will be all over. But it's not over. The strength that, God has given, and I am really, really, really a spiritual person. And Gurbani also tells us that unless you are the one who stop fighting, no one can ask you to stop. So you have to have that inner spiritual wisdom or the values. And I am I live in multicultural country. So when I was in doing my master's in one of the universities here, so I had people from South Africa, people who were from Arab countries, Mauritian, Lebanese, a lot. And I loved the fact that they have certain extent of openness with their family talks. For example, a friend of mine got call from her mother that her mother was feeling a bit low and she wanted to go on a dinner with her and stuff like that. And I felt, wow, you know, my mother would never approach me that she had a bad day,
and they want to be,
she
they
just
want to
wants
be stronger
spend
for
time
the
with
kids, and the
herself.
kids are trying to be stronger for the parents.
Oh, and
So you know, they're both trying their best,
yeah,
but not taking each other's help.
true.
Yeah, it
I
is
love this
unfortunate.
fact. Yeah. Yeah, and Yogesh, I think Yogesh talks. Yogesh is you know, watching, and he says completely true. And this is actually a fact that it is very, very important
like this
that we talk.
is letting us talk
And,
about like
I'll tell you
the fact
problem.
that you and me connected. You are in Australia and I'm in India, and we are connecting. Like we are cross cultural. Like you know, even though we are both from India, but you are talking to an audience which is suffering maybe different types of problems, but the pain is the same. You know, when it reaches a certain point, the pain is exactly the same, and when the pain is same, then the solutions can be similar. You know, and I feel that we can together you know, find the solution and make it easy to talk about it.
For sure, yeah. And you know, the better thing I would say, you know, of course I am Indian, and you know, बहुत घर की याद आती है. So this is, you know, something that comes from heart. But when so I'm, you know, when I'm working as a scientist here, but I always tend to think that, you know, once you've become to a level that you're able to manage the survival and financial circumstances, you get the responsibility for others to do better. And what you have done, Mythology, you have left your job, you know, and came to actually rescue, I would say, people from even attempting or thinking and providing that counseling. Have you ever, you know, thought that, because this comes to a lot of times in my head, and I, you know, people hear that what makes you, you know, peaceful? For example, if a person is going through a lot, you know, what can actually change that person's mindset, or what are the things that we, even in abroad or in India, can do?
I will talk about this in a very scientific way. First of all, if someone is going through really strong, I would say lingering suicidal thought, because suicidal thoughts are temporary also. You know, like you said, came back to office very stressed, I want to die. You know, the class is so boring, I want to die. You know, people keep saying that, but it's a temporary feeling, it goes away. But if it is a lingering feeling, okay, then that means there's something you need to like really take care of, you know, before it becomes permanent. So if there is a lingering kind of feeling of suicide hanging over your head all the time, then there are three things that you should take care of. Like I say, that there's this triangle, imagine a triangle. So the first thing is your thoughts. Okay, definitely. So how do we take care of our thoughts? First is remove all the toxicity. Okay, even if it is your parents, toxic parents, toxic kids, toxic partner, toxic friends, toxic neighbors, all of that, just remove it. If the job is toxic, get rid of. Nothing is more important than your life. Okay, so remove the toxicity and try to find a kind of, like, you are an average of 5 people around you, so try to find company or solace in the you know, like a peaceful kind of crowd. You know, maybe it is God, maybe it is good books, maybe it is good podcast, maybe it is good videos, anything which is less toxic. Okay, so work on the head. Then is the second part I talk about is the gut. Like, your health has a major impact on your suicidal thoughts. So for example, if you're not moving, okay, so then your body stops releasing certain chemicals in your brain, and because of the lack of those chemicals, the depression kicks in. Okay, so that's why you need to do physical exercise and take care of your gut. Okay, I'm only talking about gut. There are other areas in your body, but I'm only talking about gut because gut has a direct connection to your brain. Okay, there is a if you read this book, there are multiple books over it, but brain gut connection has been proven to be most effective. If you take care of your gut health, it has direct connection with your mental health. Okay, because 80% of the suicide is caused by mental health issues. Okay, either lack of chemicals. There are other issues also: failure in examination, partner abuse, this, that, asset attack victims, rape victims, all of that. So those are only 20%. 80% is because of mental health issues. So if we look at the mental health issues, that can be taken care of, one, by the taking care of the thoughts. Second is taking care of your health through exercise and taking care of your gut health. You might think that मैं पेट का ध्यान रख रहा हूँ, but this is something that nobody knows, right? Nobody knows about it, that taking care of your gut can really actually make you happy. Like really, because the gut discomfort creates a lot of pressure in your head and stops certain chemicals from being released. And when that gets a little higher, the third point that I want to talk about is taking medication in terms of those chemicals. Okay, so there are 5 chemicals that we normally talk about. One is dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, serotonin, and cortisol. So all of these chemicals are very important for your mental well-being. Okay, and for all of this, there are multiple ways of, by keeping yourself mentally busy, by thinking positive thoughts, by exercising, by talking to people, by communicating, by taking your feelings out. A lot of chemicals are released. Also by playing some games, watching some videos. So if all of that is not working for you, then if there comes a point where you're not able to move, from the bed, you are so depressed, then take medicinal help and take those chemicals, obviously prescribed by a proper psychologist or a clinical psychologist, and then take those proper medication to get over that phase. Once you're over, the chemicals start running in your brain, then you can start exercising and all other, taking care of your gut and all. But if the position is so extreme that you're not able to change your thoughts or change your gut health, then focus on the medication. These are the 3 things that I recommend for someone who's going through a lingering suicidal thought. If it is not lingering, if it is a temporary feeling, then counseling works like wonders. Just talking about it. Okay, but because I believe in permanent solution, I think everybody talks differently. Everybody is a different kind of listener. So to really prevent it in the long term, because like I said, it's a repetition of thoughts that's dangerous. All these 3 things have to be taken as care as well. Your physical, mental, and medicinal.
And this is wonderful. And this is a wonderful explanation, to be honest, because I, of course, come across a lot of people, and many people talk on the ground level. Like in one of the interviews we were talking on that, how can, if I am tired, out of pressure, coming home, I have to look about my, I have to look something to eat, I have to cook and do a lot of stuff. And at that time, if anyone is recommending me to meditation, it is impossible for me to sit down and concentrate and focus, and that was, brings you to a guilty pleasure. That, oh no, I wasted my time, I should have done this, I should have done. So I think at certain points, you have to find your own points that can comfort you. As you said, a lot of, things are available, but saying that would be easy with people I understand. The people who are going through, even once it happened to me that I was in a toxic job, and I felt like crying every time. So it was like a feeling that you feel crying every time, and I focus it in a day that I was about to leave for the job, and you had the feeling that I can hear the world. You could hear the voices, that even the leaves falling, and it was just a few seconds feeling. And I called my family that I'm feeling this way, I'm gonna see a doctor. I called the job that I'm not coming, and I went to see a doctor immediately, and the doctor told me that you kind of had a pre-feeling of a panic attack and stuff like that. That a toxic atmosphere you're going through at home or at work. So I said, no, I think it is work, because I'm feeling like I'm being bullied or something. And at certain points when you look back at your life, that what level that we have crossed, and how blessed we are that I was able to look at me that something is
powerful
not
parenting,
right, and then
like that's what I tell parents.
went to
like if your
to the
kid
doctor.
is in problem and it can come to you, that means that's powerful parenting. Like you have succeeded as a parent if your kid is suffering and he can talk about it to you. Don't think that you are a great parent if you're if your kids are doing successful, because all my patients are really, really successful people, and they're patient. Getting my point? What I'm trying to say here, I only work with people who are really successful and yet they're patients, because that means what? The parents worked on their success but not on their mental health. So will you call that parent a successful parent? No, in my head, no. If your kid is not happy even after so much success, then we have failed as a society. We have failed as parents.
Mythology these days, mothers and parents who for our generation we have seen those parents working, but the parents who are retiring, they are going through a different kind of pressure. They feel of course lonely because the kids are working, and they don't have much options to do. So what they have started is to depend themselves on social media, which is actually making them feel
it's dopamine release, right? Like
or
how does reels work? It's dopamine release, right? So see, the brain needs dopamine, okay, whether you give it through reel or by reading a book. Okay, reading a book takes a long time, this and that, and reels are easy, So what will you prefer? Easy dopamine or tough dopamine? Obviously easy dopamine, right? So the thing is that you cannot replace the social media connection, but you can use it well. Okay, you cannot replace it. So if someone says no, don't do this, read a book. No, that's not going to happen. Because how is our brain designed? Always towards pleasure. Brain always prefers pleasure and avoids pain. That's how brain is designed, right? So you have to make something good or interesting. That's why in all these schools nowadays, they are gamifying the education.
And I think we need more people like you who should be able to understand that we are conditioned in a way that we have psychologically issues. We gonna have psychological issues because of our conditioning. However, at times we have to stop, think, and then redo the conditioning for the future generations, because otherwise it will definitely mess them up.
And I think for the young parents, this is what I would recommend: let the kid be. I think there are good people, across the border, and it doesn't really matter where you are.
Yes, and I
it's just that if you first of all find yourself inside you, and then find the right kind of people. I would say replace your parents with neighbors if you want to, if that's what you need to survive. Okay, just because they're parents doesn't mean they're always right. I'm telling this to the teenagers directly. Just because they're parents, they're not always right. And just because your friend says it, that doesn't mean that he's always right. Okay, so listen to everything, and then you decide your own thing. If not, take but I would ask parents to give self-expression is the most basic need, right? So we are here on this planet to express ourselves in the most beautiful way, in the capacity that we can. Like, for example, someone is expressing themselves through their writing, someone is painting, someone is singing, someone is dancing, someone is creating a software code. You're a scientist, so you're creating something, right? I'm doing social work, so I'm creating society. So everybody is expressing themselves. The frustration and aggression comes in only when the self-expression is stopped. So there is a way of stopping this aggression. Okay, you cannot stop the flow of someone's journey. Indian parents think that we have been through this and it is very painful. Starting a business is very. Let me stop my son from starting a business, because starting a business is very painful, and we struggled, and we lived in a house, and we had no money, and I don't want my son to go through that. So they're trying to prevent. No, but you can't. Everybody has to go through their own journey. They have to fail. And what we're not doing as Indian parents, the worst thing that we're doing,
And
not as Indian, I think all parents, we are preparing our kids for success, for sure. Best school, best education, best tuition, this class, that class, swimming, skating, all of that. But we are not preparing them for failure. They are not prepared. They don't have the flexibility to handle failure.
Yeah, it is.
They are dying because they think they failed. Yeah.
This is so true. This is what's happening here. Like parents, I'm usually talking to a lot of parents, and they have this thing that they have started to tell people, their children, that they are unable to handle the pressure that we have faced back in India, and that's why we came to this country. We wanted our kids to study, and the pressure of the success that they want their children to fulfill is very intense, overwhelming. And that's how many teenagers have started. Earlier we were talking about it, that many teenagers or the puberty children who are 12 or 13, they have started to become more kind of like ignorant, that I don't want to listen to my parents because they're going to say the same thing, that we changed the country.
It was your decision. Nobody, they never asked you. They never asked you.
Exactly. Exactly. And then the way that the children have started to
transferring the pressure,
go in anxiety with the things of comparison.
You think that you have gone through tough time. Imagine, just go to one day, go to be a kid and go to school with the kids. Just try to live high school with them. It's very difficult, trust me. It is difficult. It is more pressure than you.
It is. Yeah.
I recommend that let them be.
So what do you
I'm not recommend. If they get bullied, let them be bullied. If they get into bad company, let them be. Just observe. Okay. Do your good parenting. Teach them the right lessons, and not only through words, through action. If you are shouting and abusing at home, obviously what are kids learning, right? So teach them through actions and be really classy about it, and let them be. Let them fail. Let them. If you think your kid is not a good singer, but he wants to try singing. They will fail, and you're pushing them. No, try football instead. Singing is not for you. No, I'm saying let them fail. Let them try singing and fail. Okay, because you have to let them fail, because in the future, lot of failure is going to come. Lot of marriage failure, relationship failure, breakups, getting fired from the job, lockdown. What not. Cancer, anything can happen in the future. If you're protecting them too much from failures, they're bound to fail in the future, and then they can't handle it because their AQ is not developed. What is AQ? Like you must have heard about IQ. IQ is your intelligence quotient. EQ is your emotional quotient. AQ is adversity quotient. The power to handle yourself in an adverse situation. Like you've just been through an accident, or just been through a battle, breakup, or your parents died, or you lost your, you failed in your examination, or you're preparing for an examination for 3 years and you could not crack it. A lot of people prepare for UPSC and becoming a doctor, NET and that in India. And they commit suicide after 3 years because they've tried. They've been living all their life to become a doctor, and they failed, they can't handle it now, and so they commit suicide because there's nothing else left. So that AQ and and I add one more bit to this.
This is happening.
Your SQ, spiritual quotient. So that for me is your, how well you are brought up spiritually, and that also helps.
And this really matters because I always say this, that this is very good to observe someone, even your kids, even your partner, even your parents might be wrong at certain point, but you're observing, you're not pushing them. yes, you can, voice up, or you can be vocal about it once you have observed enough of the information to claim that point. Once, you are like, no, that's enough. You're not observing, or you're not, tackling the situation in an appropriate patience, manner. Rather,
I tell this to all the kids, not only kids, but people who are in 20s also who wants to, do something different, but their parents are not allowing. So I tell this to them that, love your parents, but you don't have to love their opinion. Okay, respect them. You don't have to respect their opinion. The point is this, that and you can do that respectfully. You can respectfully decline their opinions. Okay, like a lot of our generation, like our previous generation, they don't want us to start businesses, right? Because starting a business is like creating failure, or or very discomforting. They're more into that job kind of safe atmosphere, and the whole generation has been into service because they have suffered in the previous generation because of a business. So the whole generation is into service industry. Now the new generation wants to start a business, so it is like a completely contradicting of what they learned, because they learned something in their childhood. They want to push that learning, right? But that's not the point. You can have your own journey, but you can't force your own journey to your kids, because they have evolved. First of all, they are better than you. You have to accept it, that your kids are better than you, and they are in a place which is definitely, the situation is also different, and they are dealing with much more than you have. Okay, even though you feel that you have suffered more, okay, that's wrong. Okay, this opinion of this high-mindedness of yourself, that I have suffered more, I was poor, I was living without AC, they have ACs in there, they have a separate room, we were living in one room, so many people, all of that is really outdated. Just go to school and just try living as an Indian in a foreign country as a student. Imagine the racism and all of that jazz that you have to deal with.
And there's now a new thing, Mythology. It's like the racism has, of course, slowed, or I should say, settled. But then now it's kind of, I call it silent racism, which has emerged. The feeling of being bullied, but not by words, by maybe eyes, by actions. It is disturbing. And being Indian, sometimes I feel proud that once we take our culture and, merge it with westernization to just, give a fusion.
I agree. Yeah, well, like I said, let's be proud about what we are, but let's not be arrogant about it. Let's be proud of what we are, but let's not be arrogant about it. Like I've seen people carrying their culture as arrogance. I don't want to do that. Like if I'm going to a party, will I not dress in a tuxedo or a gown, because that's the dress code? Why should I dress in only my Indian attire? Why do I have to be against the rules? If there is a dress code, follow the be in Rome, be Roman. Correct.
So this is a big thing, the Jaisa Desh, Vaisa Desh. So it is actually sometimes important for your kids to survive, to adapt. And I believe in these words that you're saying, that adaptation and adoption of they're both very critical words, because once you understand that okay, I'm gonna go to a new place, I need to adapt things and adopt, so it actually gives you a broader horizon to balance your life. Because I can, once I'll be like, having $1 million in my account, I think that time I'll be able to do a proper daily routine with meditation and
are not scared of changing their clothes. Like for example, if I have to work for Suicide Free India, right? Like if I have to go to a Tibet and wear a monk's dress, so be it. My purpose is more important than what I'm wearing. What I'm speaking, what language. If I have to bow down, I'll bow down. If that saves someone's life, if that will help, your purpose should always be bigger than you. Because universe loves that. Universe loves.
And saying that, this is so beautiful to hear. Your purpose is should be, more than you, but I think, you're carrying the core values of your nourishment, your family, your culture, your country. And once the parents here or the society here starts to pressurize for no reason, it feels disturbing. And I always say this, that once you know that you cannot change the people's thought, start ignoring it. Because you have to create that web that doesn't affect you. So for me, one of the speeches I had in past year, I was like explaining how just in terms of science, same, the dopamine detox stuff. And I was like, once I was thinking, how should I break the chain of overthinking? And it worked for me that everyone has their own ways to stop, that cycle of overthinking. So I said, let me eat strawberry ice cream, which is my favorite. And that happened because I was able to actually divert my mind to, overthinking and stop my thoughts by eating. So your gut actually is related to your mental health.
Also for overthinking, I recommend this to people. Think on paper. Think on paper. Write what you're thinking. Because your brain has a lot of energy. It can go on forever, but your hand has limited energy. So if you start writing, your hand will get tired, and the hand connection with the brain will say, "Oh, stop it now." The brain will automatically stop overthinking because it knows that hand is getting tired. So that is the reverse programming you're doing. You're basically changing your programming, subconscious programming. So think on paper, also called journaling.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And this is critical, what you're saying, Mythology, because of course it comes out of experience, knowledge, and complete understanding of psyche. But I really want to thank you on a fact that the way that we are talking, and people are joining, people are participating, saying hi's, and even the notifications that are saying that they're joining, it brings to a fact that these people know what we are doing. And they appreciate the fact that we are talking on subject. I know it is a brutal truth. Some of them might not, have that opacity to talk. But then this is very important that
on a daily basis,
these words should be in everyone's mind.
On Suicide-Free India,
that it should
I get at least
on
10
a daily
to 12
basis.
requests to join on a daily basis. Now it has come so many that now we have members in our on Suicide India. We have core members, and those core members are vetting the volunteers now because we have so many requests coming every single day. So now we have decided that we will vet and go through their profiles, and most of them are doctors, psychiatrists, PhD scholars, scientists, research students, and we want people to join when they're really serious about this, and and that's why one of the questions asks, why do you want to join Suicide-Free India? Because we really want to know where it is coming from. Is it like a fad that I want to join an NGO, or is it something coming from your core need to help? Because that's the kind of people I want to connect with. It has to be coming from the core. That, like I said, your purpose has to be bigger than yourself. And that's the kind of people I want to connect with, because I want to this is a long journey, Nikita. This is a long fight against suicide. It is going to take years, decades. Maybe my lifetime is not enough. So it might take multiple lifetimes to really achieve what I want to achieve. That, we can die of plague, we can die of disease, we can die of COVID, we can die in accident, but let's not die by suicide. Let no one die by suicide. Let's not be so hopeless. Let the society be so helpful towards each other that let's not die by suicide. Because it can be.
And this is true, because in the morning itself I was talking about that I was wishing Mother's Day, but I felt a gap that why women are becoming the next challenging men in the society for other women. If women is succeeding to a point, why other women cannot hold it? Why like as you mentioned, you know, when you're going, for example, if I have to visit Tibet and I have to wear the monk attire, I would do it without being thinking that other women would judge me. And this is such, because men still have that capacity to handle other men's comments or, you know, tones. They can at certain points, because they'll be like, yaar kuch nahi hai, na? Many men. Females, in fact, we are more sensitive in a way that we deal with a lot of things, and so it makes us feel like more sensitive towards comments, or, you know, like me, I am very strong. I've evolved myself, knowing the fact that, you know,
I think
words cannot matter.
You know what is
me who
really
I
gone wrong
don't need
with
to
women.
matter for myself.
Let me tell you, like,
but then men,
we always say bad things about, you know, men don't do this and don't do this and that and emotional and all of that. But let me tell you, the biggest problem right now that we're facing with women are women are not emotionally mature enough. Sorry to say that. This myth that women are emotionally mature, I think it's
exactly
a myth.
my point.
No, they are spoiled. I know a girl always used to come first in class, and she met a boy in 12th standard, toxic relationship, and now she's like into a depression, and she had to quit her exam. She was about to become a doctor, and just because of one unsuccessful relationship, completely messed up her life. Really bad programming, you know, like, and I think she will never get over it, you know, unfortunately, because women, you know, we used to think that women are emotionally mature, but I think women are emotionally stupid, you know. I feel so angry with teenagers, women especially, not the guys. Guys, I think they are more focused. They are more focused and work.
Mentioning that the guys will be like, you know, all the songs that they will, you know, all they'll be having those
whole thing
Punjabi,
about women playing
Bollywood
victim.
love
I hate that.
music, and they'll be
I
like
hate
over
that.
it.
You know, we never get a chance. Men always get it.
Yeah,
you want to get a chance based on your looks. What rubbish is that? You know, get over it.
Yeah. And this is true, and you know, people should talk about it, Mythology. Here as well, I am always vocal, and people have started to call me fun police, that, you know, if Nikita is here, you have to talk good. And it has started to happen, and I'm like, at least, okay, something is happening. But it is important, you know. I know women have gone through a lot.
I would say to women, stop being a victim. You are not more a victim.
Other stuff,
men
you know,
are the victim.
we still do not have.
Because anyways, you're taking opportunity. If you're taking opportunities from them based on your looks, then that is really bullshit, you know. And if you think, you know, you can look good because you're a woman. If you want to look good, look good. You don't have whatever you want to drink. There is no body shaming now. Men are not body shaming you. You wear whatever you want to wear. You do whatever you want to do. But be good at it. Be good at it. Don't think that you're average in your job, but you should get a promotion. You know, don't carry that card. If you're a woman and you're not able to give time to your job, and the other one is getting promoted, obviously they will not. You chose to become also a mother and take care of your kids. Accept that choice, or hire a nanny and work. You know, don't play victim anymore. You know, it's about your choice. Nobody. I think now, especially, women always have a choice, okay? Whether to stay in marriage. So don't play victim that I'm married to a toxic man and he's beating me every day, but I still have to live because of my parents. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't have to.
And I'm always vocal to that fact that how is that possible? For example, I understand, you know, especially in villages, and you know, we call it like and we know that how, you know, non-urban parts, sometimes some of the families deal with women who might be in a toxic relationship and cannot get out because of the kids or something, and there are many examples that go through that. But women who are in abroad countries, these countries are so much Mythology. We have gone through those countries, and we know that the fact that
centric, very centric,
women
centric.
This is actually feminine.
Even in India, the laws are very female centric. I think it's unfair at times. I feel it is unfair. But yeah, it can be. It can be. I have
it
gone
can
through.
be a long
I was
journey,
doing research for Suicide Free India only, where I went through a lot of men committing suicide because by wrongly being blamed for dowry. Yeah.
Yes, it happens here. It has happened. A lot of cases where men have actually been jailed because women played the card of being, beaten up, and many men have, told me this fact, and that's how, many people have started Men's International Day here, where they organize different community talks, where women also speak, but mostly men speak.
Women are taking the victimhood too much, like you want equality, but you really not want equality. You want superiority.
It is the fact. I was telling a fact here in one of the speech that, for example, if I know that it is my house, in a way that I know how beautiful it should look, and we have something in a maybe heritage that we love. For me, for example, I'm talking about my personal opinion that I love to decorate my house, and I don't want men touching it because of the fact that I know it's beautiful and I'm gonna decorate that. So adapt that fact rather than saying that it's only me working and not my husband working, for that. That's wrong. If you know that you have 80% of household dependence on you, and your husband is able to get financial, stability for house, accept the fact and, communicate with each other, and you balance relationship and,
and also I feel
together, because it is capitalist economy everywhere now.
Financial independence is something that every woman should have. I'm not saying that they have to work every single year of their life. Maybe you can take a break or whatever, but you should not. You should, if you think that if you're pretty and you get married to someone rich, then then obviously you'll be treated like that. If you want to be a doll, you will be treated like a doll, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be treated as a human, then you have to take the responsibility of and if you are working in the house too much, like if you're taking care of a lot of things, then
why?
Because it's a full-time job. I agree with that. If you if you have at home also, if you're not like really focusing on motherhood properly, or if you're not, if you're only making reels, then you really need to think about it. Is that, I have a very strong opinion about it. So,
true. And then this is so and it is true, and that's why I think we just had a one-time word, and we resonate, or we talk on, we have that vision that this is happening, this is a fact that, and I was telling the speech today in Punjabi as well, that it is the fact that women are new, challenging or dominating men for other women here everywhere, because it is happening. They cannot see other women getting promotions. They cannot even tolerate them wearing Western clothes.
Because why the problem is coming from
how is that possible?
When people can't control their own lives, they like to control outside. So, and when they can't control outside, then they manipulate, or they gossip or bad mouth or whatever. But that can only happen if they can focus on themselves and try to control what they can control, the controllables, and then they don't have to try to control the uncontrollables, because there you can only rumorize, right? You can spread a rumor, right? Because I remember when I was a working woman, I used to go and pick my son from the bus stop. None of the housewives will talk to us. They will not talk to us. They will not be friends with us. Yeah.
Really?
Okay. And it's so weird, no? And it is India, no? There is no cultural difference here. Same society, everything. But the housewives will not talk to us. Like, so the working women will have a separate group. That was so funny. And for me, it was very frustrating. I was like, what the hell is this? And when I left my job, when I left my job,
Yeah.
they wanted to, like,
And
you
this
know, they
happened
started
for
talking
sure.
to me. I was like, no way, not my mindset. You know, I cannot tolerate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is very, you've used the word mindset, and, you know, we actually decided, viewers, that we will be having half an hour.
Yes.
But I think it's, so just towards finishing end, you've chosen the word mindset. And I really want to highlight that fact that if you feel that, you know, the person is not matching the mindset you carry, doesn't matter what frequency, and, you know, majority of people have low frequency mindsets. So once you feel that you have a better mindset, or even, you know, perfect or imperfect, if someone is not matching your mindsets, or, you know, you have to reduce your energy to talk to that person. So I think, as Mythology mentioned, if you find that is leading to toxicity, you should exit. You know, there's always the exit door. And today we got a lot of options for those exit doors, be it man, be it women.
I always say this to
I know
everyone.
society will be in challenge.
Keep your life lighter. You know, it's okay to have only one friend or one person in your life. You know, because at least 2-3 people. There is nobody on this planet. There are 2-3 people always loving you. Okay, for sure. You know, to your parents, your brother, one friend. There is always 2-3 grandparents. There are always 2-3 people loving you. So if there are 2-3 people loving you, then why do you have to carry the baggage of so many people, so many expectations? You know, and you know, keep it light and keep it easy for yourself. First, you have to be happy. Okay, and like you spoke about mindset, also the vibe. You know, some people have great mental acumen, but they have no emotions. But you have emotions. So normally with your partner, you're expecting something, but the partner is very intelligent and good mindset, but the emotions are not matching. That's why the vibe don't match. So the vibe is a combination of your thoughts, which is your which are electric in nature, and your emotions, which are magnetic in nature. The electromagnetic field that is created because of that, the electric thought and the magnetic emotion, that is your aura, that is your vibe. So that has to match. Someone with that intelligence and the depth of emotions. That's the kind of person you will connect with. Like I connected with you. You are in my vibe match because we have positive thoughts for the society and we have the mental acumen to handle it. So that kind of people, those are the people you relate to. That is the vibe you should connect to. You know? And if that.
This is so this is actually, you know, I'm always happy to learn, but I think, you know, with you I've learned today more than what I was thinking, because you have actually set an example yourself that, you know, you are a woman with, I think, a beautiful heart and beautiful brain. But then, of course, this is very important for female like you, who is actually, you know, talking equally about man and women at the same time, because I think you are more concerned about human happiness, you know, rather than gender equality and equal rights. Because I think many people have those you know, knowledge that they want to carry and help other women or men, but for you as a, you know, life coach, it is very important to you know, let people know that these are the words which we were not talking in our orthodox society, and now it is the time. Let's talk on it to bring happiness in this capitalist, you know, countries. So thank you, and you know, we should do more
connecting with you. How we connected, that's also mystical, right? Magical, the way we connected. Suddenly I got a call and you know, she's on the line.
And I'm always like that, you know, people always make fun of me here, that we don't know you, and I'm like, no, I know you, I have been following you.
She will find her vibe, you know, she will find the right people and she'll make sure that she'll become friends with them, because, you know, she's a go-getter. I call her the go-getter, because, and it's not a go-getter in terms of, you know, things or objects, but people, you know, like I spoke about the vibe. I'm the kind of person who, you know, if you come across you'll know me, but I will probably not approach, you know, like, you know, But she's the kind of person, if she finds the right vibe, she'll make friends. You know, that's fantastic. I love that about her. So,
no, I'm gonna definitely visit India and meet you personally. And
imagine how long we will talk then.
Yeah. But of course, this is really important. Yeah, I know, and our viewers will be like, stop. But I think we'll read couple of so of course, keep the good work. Thank you. And that's absolutely right. It all depends on the mindset. Absolutely true. And I think I read somewhere, I think I missed that comment, that someone was really a big fan of your talks, and I agree with that fact, because I think there are very, very rare people who would talk about these taboos that no one want to touch, because everyone is scared about death. But then those feelings to approach death yourself is a must talk. This should be, tackled with care. We always say this, but those caring people are rare. So I think, please, when we say in abroad countries, it's often said, please go and ask, are you okay? But the person who is asking, they are the bullies. So it really affects who is that person who's going to ask us. We know that our family, like, I had a good nourishment, so I can go to my parents, like, I can go to my mom and tell her the stories, but not many people, not many children can do it. And that's how I realized that, it is a need. And you're right, I actually, Mythology, I would love to, welcome you here as well in Melbourne. We might, plan something. But then this is really incredible to talk to you, to learn. And, we have to do more of episodes, I'm sure. But then we're going to definitely tell people that we'll be coming live on Instagram.
We'll figure it out. I think, like my brother always says, every time I go for technical talk to him, then he's like, you are technically handicapped. I said, so many technologies, what all to learn. I want to focus on my work and not learning Instagram.
That's a good word.
Yeah. That's why my team is really good.
Yeah, it's very boring thing to do.
Always doing all the
next
work
time
from Hyderabad. See, the good thing is about internet and all of this is that I'm speaking to you. You are in Melbourne, Australia. My team is working parallelly in Hyderabad. So, and we are all connected, and working in sync with the same mindset. So vibe is like online vibe also we can, connect with, right? So,
And I always say this, proudly, that we Indians have certain things कि हम कहते होते थे कि पूरा साल नहीं पढ़ेंगे, but एक बार एग्जाम पहले हमने पास भी हो जाना है. And that thing, it was story of my life. I was never, I'm a scientist who had a history, jisko like,
I'm a product of my friends study. But because I remember that I never used to study, and the last day I'll ask them what is in the course. They will tell me something and I'll not finish it. And then while going to college, en route my college, two of my friends, Juhi and Anjali, and I don't know if they've joined, so they will know. So I will ask them to just say the answers, just keep saying things. And during that talk only, and the funny thing was, I used to
those
them.
People are the most genius.
They used to hate me. When did you study?
Yeah, exactly. Like my friends used to wake me up before 15 minutes to the exam.
So this is a message for all the parents.
That 15 minutes walk, I'll be imbibing. But I think,
if the kid is average, he's going to be awesome. Average people are the best.
And I agree. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, you're a wonderful life coach. You are one of the best spiritual, evolved person I've met. And I'm really thankful for your time. We have lots to talk. We'll discuss, when we can do another episode.
Thank you for
on
having
Instagram
me,
this
and
time.
I loved talking
And
to you.
thank you for your
Like
time.
I said, there is a reason why we met, why we connected, and I'm sure it has been connected to a bigger purpose, because we don't know what I always say this: when you increase your energy and vibration, you don't bring opportunities, you bring people into your life, and those people bring opportunities. So I believe in people, and I believe in good people, and I think that if you have a bigger purpose and you don't know how it's going to work, don't worry about it. If you have the right intention, it will happen. You know, how we happen, I'm sure it will. Thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, and thank you all the viewers who were with us. Of course, we are nothing without you guys, and thank you for listening, and thank you for joining, and sending beautiful notes.